Hey everyone, it's Jack Hammer here reporting from Levi Stadium where the 49ers are in the process of wrapping up their first practice in preparation for Sunday's big game against the Dallas Cowboys, which will be taking place here at Levi Stadium on Sunday at 3:30. Just a couple of injury notes I wanted to pass along. Jimmy Garoppolo and Ambry Thomas, the only two 49ers not practicing today due to injury. Trent Williams also did not practice. That's not out of the ordinary. He's typically takes a vet day on the first day of preparation for each week, so Trent Williams didn't practice today. Other injury news: Juwan Jennings, Samson Ebukam, and Javon Kinlaw were all listed as limited participants today. The surprise there is Javon Kinlaw. Kinlaw has not participated in practice on the opening day since coming back from his IR stint, so that's good news. Kinlaw looked spry out there today, quick on his feet during the portion that was open to the media. So Javon Kinlaw looking good. One other injury note wanted to pass along, and it has to do with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Both of the injured 49ers quarterbacks were in the locker room today. Lance with a crutch, walking with the help of a crutch. Jimmy Garoppolo with the boot off of his foot. Just a sock there, walking around without that boot. That's good news. The 49ers have said on a couple of different occasions that they hope to get Garoppolo back this postseason for at some point, most likely starting right around the NFC Championship game if they get there. That definitely looks like the direction in which Garoppolo is headed right now. So as I said, Jimmy Garoppolo in the 49ers locker room today, walking around without the boot on his injured foot. Trey Lance in the locker room as well, walking with the help of a cane, able to put a little bit of weight on that injured ankle. That's a good sign for him as he starts to work his way back. But once again, the injuries for today: no Garoppolo, no Thomas, and no Trent Williams at practice. Jennings, Ebukam, and Kinlaw listed as limited participants. One other topic that I want to hit on really quick, and this just happens to be going around social media now, is Brock Purdy. And a couple days ago, right after the game against Seattle, one analyst that does a lot of stuff here on YouTube came out and said that he felt like Brock Purdy has regressed since his first start. Today there was another analyst, somebody that works not for the 49ers, but a 49ers-centric podcaster, who pointed to the number of open receivers that Brock Purdy is throwing to. If you look at the numbers, according to Next Gen Stats or CBS Sports, depending on which one you want to look at, they both list it similar in that 10 of the 30 targets for Purdy on Saturday in the game against Seattle went to receivers who had more than 5 yards of separation. Basically, the thing there is that basically what they're saying is that it's the scheme of Kyle Shanahan getting these guys wide open, and the quarterback just needs to hit them. And to both of those, I say, what's happened the last 5 years? This isn't new. The 49ers under Kyle Shanahan have constantly had receivers running wide open all over the field. The difference was the guy pulling the trigger, and he either wasn't pulling the trigger or he couldn't hit him when he did, especially in the playoffs. That's what makes this whole thing coming out at this point odd to me. Either one of those comments. The performance from Brock Purdy on Saturday against Seattle, although it was a little bit rough at the start, I think you look at that performance overall, and that's an A+ terrific performance. It's the best playoff performance we've seen from a quarterback from the 49ers during the postseason since Colin Kaepernick in 2012 against Green Bay, maybe Kaepernick in 2013, on that run through the playoffs before they lost to Seattle in the championship game up there in 2013. At least then. It could even be longer than that. I don't know. But it's been at least that long, because I know one thing. The guy that he's replacing, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's never done it. Could Trey Lance have done what Brock Purdy's done so far? Well, we haven't seen enough of him to say whether he could or not. I'll say it based off of what I saw of him in practices. The answer to that question would be no. But it's a little unfair because we haven't seen him play with Brock Purdy yet. Excuse me, with Brock Purdy. Whoa. With Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey has really changed this offense. Makes it a lot easier for the quarterbacks. I think that's why you look at Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers this season, before and after Christian McCaffrey joined the team. And you see his interception numbers dropping quite a bit because now the quarterbacks have a nice check down option that they can go to. So overall, you look at this whole thing with Brock Purdy, and I just don't get where we're going with this. I get it. Kyle Shanahan is a hell of a head coach. And Brock Purdy's a rookie 7th round pick nobody expected anything of. He went into wildcard weekend, he came out with the second best QB rating. The next best was, or the best one was actually from Dak Prescott, who they'll face here on Sunday afternoon. I just don't know what else he can do. I don't think there's any way, and this is a part of the thing here with this question is, you know, for the longest time it was kind of like, what's going to happen when Kyle Shanahan finally figures out a guy at quarterback that can do everything that he wants him to do? Will that guy get credit? And I think we're seeing the answer is no. The credit's always going to go back to Kyle Shanahan for some people. Again, it's stuff that's the one play that I will point to. This is another one that's made its rounds on social media. Is the first play of the fourth quarter, play action deep down the left sideline to Juwan Jennings. It's a completion for 33 yards. Ball's not perfect. It's a little too far inside, makes it a little bit closer than it should have been. But it's a 33-yard gain. And seeing a lot of people talking about that play in particular. And again, it goes back to what I just said earlier on. Go through this season, just this season. Let's not even worry about last season. Just go through this season, and you can find plays of Trey Lance missing a guy wide open on a leak route, which is what that was. You can find examples of Jimmy Garoppolo missing wide receivers who are open on a leak route. Not even bad throws. I'm talking about incompletions. So, you know, this whole thing with Brock Purdy is quite interesting to me. I do think that some of it is coming from guys who have been talking a lot about how Trey Lance should be the guy. I think some of it's from people who are extremely high on one player, and since it's not him, this is what's happening. I think if Trey Lance had had that same game on Sunday, I think the response from a certain portion of the folks who do YouTube and analyze the games, cover the games, would be different. But it wasn't. So because it was Brock Purdy instead of Trey Lance, the response from some folks is different. Whatever it is, you look at this thing. Brock Purdy is playing at a very high level. For Aaron fans, you're lucky to have this guy. We'll see what happens with Trey Lance and Brock Purdy next offseason. That's when the question will be answered as far as who's the quarterback in 2023. But for right now, it's Brock Purdy's job. He's checked off every box that's come his way. Next up is going to be here on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. And he'll be facing off against a Dallas defense that is extremely good, gets after the quarterback well, and can force turnovers. It's going to be a big test for him. And if he can pass this one, things are going to be looking really good for the 49ers, and they'll be into the NFC Championship game where they'll play either here against the New York Giants or out in Philly against the Eagles. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. But just wanted to make sure I got that to you. Like I said, again, the injuries, Garoppolo and Thomas and Williams did not practice. Williams because of a vet day. Juwan Jennings, Samson Ebukam, Javon Kinlaw were limited. But one last thing on Brock Purdy today. The ball never touched the ground throughout the whole practice that we got to see. Take it for what it's worth. Thank you for watching. If you guys can do me a favor and hit that like button. If you're watching this and you're already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Take care, and we'll be getting you all the 49ers news and updates as it needs to come out right here on the Jack Hammer channel. Take care, everybody.